What is the worst thing Metal Gear Solid Delta could do? Change Metal Gear Solid 3's theme, thereby changing the message of MGS3. What is MGS3's theme though? That's what we're going over today. Heads up, this video will be diving deeply into MGS3's themes, so spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 3. If you're new here, my name is Luffy and welcome to my channel. One of the most important things to preserve in any remake of a game is its theme. What is MGS3's theme? Scene. What does that mean though? What is the scene of MGS3? MGS3's theme scene is multi-layered. The first layer is the political climate of the Cold War and the conflict between the US and the USSR. Tensions between these two countries are high, though neither leader of these countries wants to see the Cold War heat up into a direct conflict. The second scene is the scene Volgin paints when he fires an American-made nuke at a Soviet research facility. The US is initially blamed for his actions since the nuke used is American-made and the nuking of the Soviet facility threatens to kick off World War III. The theme, scene, also and most blatantly, refers to Operation Snake Eater, a step taken to correct the unfortunate scene Volgin painted. A legendary soldier from the US would be made into a scapegoat to take the fall for the nuclear strike. The story being that she defected and gifted the nuke to Volgin independent of the US, which would sever all ties the nuclear strike had to the US. The boss, who'd originally faux defected in order to infiltrate Volgin's ranks and get her hands on the philosopher's legacy, an incomprehensible amount of money, would now never be allowed to return to the US. She was labeled a traitor and Naked Snake, her disciple, would need to assassinate her and Volgin and stop the Shagohod, a nuclear-armed tank, in order to clear the US's name. The US had to put on a scene that would result in both them and the USSR looking good. All of the characters in MGS3 are playing a role, sometimes multiple roles all at once. For the boss, she was playing the part of a traitorous defector to take the heat off of the US. Naked Snake played the part of a loyal soldier dutifully following orders. They were nothing more than puppets in the scene the US and the USSR put on. The scenes in MGS3 are dictated by the political climate at the time of Operation Snake Eater. The Cold War pitted the US and the USSR against one another, each racing to prove they're better than the other. The boss, along with countless others, are a victim of the political climate. The boss is used as a human guinea pig in nuclear testing and was used again as the first person shot up into space. Both the US and the USSR were racing to beat the other in terms of military prowess and to put a person in space, and people, not the leaders, were used to further these goals regardless of risk. These experiments altered the boss permanently and left her sterile. Despite her legendary status, the boss was still an expendable soldier able to be used as her leaders deemed fit. Neither the US nor the USSR was willing to concede in any aspect, and so when there was an issue, like Volgin firing that nuke, they scapegoated the problem to an expendable soldier and then disposed of her.
I'm loyal to the end, to my purpose.
Just 20 years before Operation Snake Eater, the scene looked a lot different. The US and the USSR fought in the same side in World War II. The times dictated their alliance, and then the times dictated their opposition to one another. Soldiers are beholden to the political times in which they serve, the scene of the political climate.
A soldier is a political tool, nothing more.
This is illustrated over and over with the boss, the Cobra unit, and with Naked Snake. Towards the end of the Virtuous mission, Volgin hijacks the scene. Originally, the boss was faux defecting from the US and infiltrating Volgin's unit to get her hands on the philosopher's legacy, and maybe to assassinate Volgin. Once successful, she'd return to the US and then be put on another mission. Though, when Volgin shot that American-made nuke at a research facility, he painted a scene that the USSR was under attack from the US. He forced a scene change, and for the times to adapt to his actions, which is kind of impressive if we take a step back and think about it. The boss and BB talk about the times like the only thing you can do is get with it and serve them, or oppose them, but Volgin grabs control of the times like it's nothing. Probably completely by accident because he doesn't do a single other competent thing for the rest of MGS3, but still, Volgin risks setting off World War III, a nuclear Armageddon, and political leaders affected by his actions have to scramble to adjust the scene to keep the Cold War cold. Operation Snake Eater is the best example of scene in MGS3. It's literally a scene put on to appease the people of the USSR so that they don't demand retaliation from their leader, Khrushchev, against the US, for the nuclear strike on a Soviet research facility. America has to put on a scene that shifts the blame to the boss, who's recently defected. A defected soldier taking the blame leaves America blameless in the incident. How can you blame America for what one rogue soldier did? Naked Snake, the boss's disciple, is tasked with killing the boss, and isn't that so poetic? This could really be a dramatic play. The boss had to play her part, but what's more than that, she had to make sure Naked Snake was able to successfully assassinate her in a believable way. The boss had multiple opportunities to kill Naked Snake, but she doesn't take those chances as she's loyal to the end, to her mission. Eva and Ocelot are spies in Volgin's ranks, playing their own roles too. The boss spells out MGS3's themes right from the get-go.
Politics determine who you face on the battlefield, and politics are a living thing. They change along with the times. Yesterday's good might be tomorrow's evil.
The boss is describing the scene and how that scene can change depending on the political climate. The boss has seen firsthand how yesterday's good could be tomorrow's evil, with the most glaring example of this being the boss's experience with the Sorrow. The Sorrow fought alongside the boss in her Cobra unit, and the two fell for one another. They even conceived a child together, though that didn't change things when they found themselves on opposite sides of the battlefield from one another.
He was my friend. But one of us had to die. I was left with no choice. The Sorrow gave his life for me. There is no enmity between us. One must live, and one must die. That was the mission.
The boss decided for herself long ago that she was loyal to her mission, to the end.
The only thing we can believe in with absolute certainty is the mission, Jack.
Throughout all its running scenes, MGS3 asks a big question multiple times. Are you loyal to the end, or loyal to your personal beliefs? Are you loyal to the times who dictate the scenes you act in, or loyal to your own personal drives and beliefs?
As long as we have loyalty to the end, there's no point in believing in anything, even in those we love.
Though the boss impresses on Naked Snake that he'll have to choose between loyalty to the mission or loyalty to his own beliefs, she makes it clear that this choice is his to make.
I can't teach you how to think. You'll just have to figure it out for yourself.
The boss makes it clear what choice she's made, to be loyal to the end, to her mission, but also that it's up to Naked Snake himself to decide what he's loyal to. Even the supporting cast finds themselves faced with this question. Eva seems to have come to the same conclusion as the boss, loyal to the end. No matter how close she seems to get to Naked Snake, she sticks to her mission to steal the Philosopher's legacy, even going so far as to take his picture as insurance in case something goes wrong. At the very end of the game, though, she breaks her cover story. The boss had confided in her the part she played in Operation Snake Eater, admitting she was still loyal to the US and was purposefully taking the fall. Eva, moved by the boss, leaves an audio tape explaining the boss's role and her own role as an agent from the People's Republic of China. Eva goes from being loyal to the end, to her mission, to loyal to her own motivations. Naked Snake also changes from being loyal to the end to loyal to his own beliefs. MGS3 is a coming-of-age story for Naked Snake. For the first time in the series, we see Big Boss before he's Big Boss, the man before the monster. It's important that MGS3 shows through its themes how someone can go from blindly following the will of the leaders of his country to someone who's abandoned his country in favor of making his own nation with his own set of beliefs and rules. Naked Snake's put in an impossible situation where he's pivotal to stopping the nuclear Armageddon that is World War III, but in exchange, he needs to kill someone he loves dearly. He can't see Operation Snake Eater for what it is, a scene put on by the political powers that be. The boss is sacrificed to appease the people, and her reputation is forever blackened by the scene that is Operation Snake Eater. At the beginning of MGS3, Naked Snake adamantly tells the boss he's loyal to the mission and the top brass, no matter how the times may change.
I follow the will of the leader, no matter who's in charge.
The boss observes about Naked Snake.
A soldier has to follow whatever orders he's given. It's not his place to question why, but you're looking for a reason to fight.
At first, Naked Snake models himself after the boss. He repeats he's loyal to the mission and follows through on his belief as he sees Operation Snake Eater to the end and assassinates the boss. Though after her death, this belief doesn't sit with him. He changes his mind and rejects the belief of loyalty to the end. He abandons the US in search of a world where soldiers like he and the boss aren't expendable commodities, and when he can't find that, he vows to make a place like that a reality for himself. He starts to plan his own nation-state of soldiers who will never have to be pitted against one another or fight in scenes put on by the demands of the political climate. MGS3's scenes shaped Naked Snake into Big Boss. The scene the US puts on shows Naked Snake he's an expendable puppet expected to dance in whatever play they put on, no matter the sacrifice. He loses his mentor in the process and decides that not only will he never get used like that again, that no soldier deserves to be used in that way, and decides to form a nation where soldiers could come to fight for their own ideologies instead of the ever-changing ideologies of a country. If Metal Gear Solid Delta keeps these themes at the forefront of its design, then I think we'll get something close to the essence of the original MGS3, which would be rad. Thank you so much for making it to the end of my video. Please like, subscribe, turn notifications on, and join us in Discord. We're always talking about MGS. More importantly than that though, please take care of yourself, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Thank you.